Hey there, Aquarius Sun, Aquarius Moon, Aquarius Rising. It's Maggie from Moon Directed. Welcome to my channel. Here we work with the energy of the moon to see how we can best utilize it to move our life forward in the most positive way possible. So I'm changing things up again, but I think this is what we're going to do. We're going to do the channeled message will be first. I will timestamp, and then there will be week 1, which will be May 11th through the 17th, and then I will timestamp for week 2, which will be May 18th through the 24th, and then that way my videos only come out on Mondays, so you'll know when to find them, and we'll cover the monthlies and the mid-monthlies on Mondays also. Oh, okay. So I did channel a message for you. A really great way to get one that resonates for you is to leave me a comment, even if it's just an emoji, because what I do is I put your name in my book of names, and then I really try to focus in on your energy. So that would be something you could do, but you could also hit that thumbs up. I always appreciate it. I like that you appreciate my time and my energy. So your channel message, you guys were sitting at a potter's wheel. And for a moment I thought it was going to be like, what is that one with Patrick Swayze? Oh, Ghost. I thought it was going to be like a scene out of Ghost, but it was just you, sorry, sitting there at the potter's wheel, and you were creating something, and then it got all misshapen, and I don't know if you've ever done pottery, but when it gets misshapen, all of a sudden it starts wobbling, and it collapses. So you just gathered it all back up. You were not stressed out about that. You were just calmly gathering it back up, and then you started to create again. And I heard, if you don't like what you have been working on, rework it. If you don't like what you've been working on, rework it. And then the other thing I heard was, you are a creator being. So create. Okay, the so creates for me. It said, you are a creator being. So then the other thing I thought about was having your hands in the clay that's very grounded, right? That's being very, very grounded. So creativity comes from within yourself. This is very sacral chakra work. So getting out in nature, keeping yourself grounded, but creating. So if you feel like, well, I just don't feel creative, then go do something that is creative to get things moving, right? So it could be, oh my, okay, so some of you guys really need to find, even if it's just like, I don't know, paint by numbers or doodling or something. Find something that feels creative and crafty, and get your hands. It feels like you need to have your hands involved in it to try to get the process working. Maybe it's to take you out. Oh, it's to take you out of your head and put you into your body, because the creation happens here in the sacral chakra. And so Aquarius, you spend a lot of time up in your head. And so this is about taking your ideas and bringing them down into reality by actually physically creating something with your hands. Really, ooh, okay. Wow, the energy tonight is so cool. All right, so let's go ahead and get into your reading. So here we go. It is 3:16. So we start out the week with the moon in in Capricorn, and this is about you taking responsibility for what's going to create the balance in your life. Okay, so Capricorn is all about being responsible, and at the same time, we've also got Saturn, which rules Capricorn, going retrograde on Monday. And so we also have, oh yeah, if that's not enough, we also have Mercury moving into its home sign of Gemini. And so there's this energy of, oh gosh, slowing down. What did we learn? How can we use it? Taking a look around at the resources that you have, and how can you take stuff and spread it around to propagate more growth. And what I actually saw were like a bunch of daylilies, and somebody's was splitting them and moving them around their yard, putting them in different places, and literally passing some of them up over the picket fence to the neighbor. So spreading around to you, but also being willing to share your resources with other people, time, money, energy. Are you mentoring? So knowledge, wisdom. So lots of things you can do that actually don't seem to cost a lot of money. Okay, so you have here grateful blessings. Bless your bills, debts, and money. Embrace what is now before healing occurs on your soul's abundance. All right, so if you are an Aquarius rising in particular, but not necessarily, a lot of times we have this emotional, because that would make Pisces your second house, okay, where your finances are. So a lot of times paying bills is a very emotional experience. It's like, you know, I work hard for this. I don't want to give this up. I don't want to release this. And so being willing to share something of resources, and it doesn't necessarily mean opening up your checkbook, will help to feel better. And so just be grateful. What are the bills paying for? So maybe you're not grateful that you have to write that big rent check, but you're really grateful that you have a place to live that's safe. You know, so things like that. So creating your gratitude list to help you feel more abundant. Like when you realize how much you already have, then it makes it a lot easier to attract in higher levels of abundance, because now you're starting to feel more abundant. And then the week continues with Tuesday. The moon is going to move into into Aquarius, your sign, at 11:39. Shortly thereafter, it's going to come into conjunction with Saturn, which is hanging out in your sign. Saturn is a co-ruler of your sign. It was the ancient ruler of Aquarius, and now co-rules it with Uranus. And so it's very comfortable there. It's about creating boundaries, but different kinds of boundaries. It's boundaries of information and thought process, and how can, breaking the boundaries. Like, literally, Kitty Hawk, the flight at Kitty Hawk happened when Saturn was in Aquarius. It's that kind of breaking the limits, breaking the boundaries. And we also have Venus going retrograde. And Venus going retrograde is in Gemini. It's a fellow air sign. And so for you, this might be really nice, because that's in your 5th house of fun and romance. And so you might be like thinking back about what it is that brings you the joy and the happiness, and what makes you feel really good in a relationship. And so there might be some thoughts about that. Meanwhile, Mars is moving into Pisces. So Mars all fired up is now like a slow down. So there's all this slowing down energy to think about what is important to us, to learn the lessons, to integrate them, to be able to create a stable foundation for what's next. There's also this energy of do your realities mesh with what your partner thinks is the reality? So because Gemini can be a little tricky. So it's good to have good conversations this week and over the next couple of weeks about what, really in the partnership realm, what's the reality of the situation? Here's what I need. Here's what, can you do this or whatever? So conversations about that. All right. You have joy. Oh my gosh. Look how pretty these cards are. I just love these cards so much. Okay. So beauty, joy, resilience, joy, integrating knowledge and experience into wisdom, joy. So here it is. The affirmation for you this week might be, I am prosperity, I am abundance, I am joy-filled. I am joy-filled. When you make the decision to be happy, it literally happens for you. Speak your words into water, let it sit overnight, and then drink the water in the morning with intention. You'll be surprised about how quickly your life can change. Okay, so you have optimism. You have joy, you have optimism, you have blessing the things that bother you, that you're worried about. And so that blessing energy is like visualizing the things that you don't like as being dark energy. Okay, so whatever, you have to write an alimony check, you have to oh my gosh, my poor brother-in-law, shortly after he bought the engagement ring for my sister, it got lost, and so he had to pay for it every month. He had to write a check for something they no longer had, right? So that was like, oh, okay. So that kind of energy, you take that and you think of it as negative, dark energy, and you visualize it being hit with a strong beam of light and watching it turn into little diamonds that sparkle, and you transmute the negative energy into positive energy. And then you allow that to make you feel happy and joyful and optimistic, and you're like, oh my gosh, she's so nuts. I know. And it works, though. Because when you are grateful, so you got gratitude coming up here, you got gratitude that came up here, you have joy and you have optimism. I might be nuts, but Spirit says it's what works. And allow yourself to feel protected and guided by Spirit during this time, because you are. Because you are. So be optimistic about the future. Allow yourself to be joy-filled. Allow yourself to create something that makes you feel happy. Whether it's physically doing some kind of a creative project and going, wow, that is really pretty. I like that I did that. Maybe it's getting out and planting a garden. Maybe it's, cutting out paper hearts. I don't know. Find something that just makes you feel happy and joy-filled in the moment, and push through the resistance to this idea. Push through the resistance of taking this action, because that is when the moon gets into Aries on Sunday. And even though Saturday's a really good day to get things done, Sunday might be too, but you want to pay attention to the action steps that you're going to take that's going to get you to where you're going to go. And honestly, it is important that you allow yourself to push through the resistance of that. Just sounds like crazy stuff. That's just crazy talk. Okay, maybe it is, but it works. All right, so let's go ahead and move. I'll pull the card for that in just a moment. We're going to go ahead and move into the next week, which is the 18th through the 24th. Lots of interesting things happening that we on Monday alone. So we've got the moon that's now in Aries, and we've got the moon that's in Aries. Did I write that down? We've got the moon that's in Aries, and it's coming into conjunction with Chiron, the wounded healer, in Aries. So there's going to be a little twinge of something that's brought up that needs to be wounded, that's wounded, that needs to be healed. And so the good news is that the moon moves quickly. It's only in a sign for a day and a half. 2.5 days. And so it's not going to be there very long. You can notice it. What is it? How can you manage it? What are you going to do about it, kind of feeling, and then just let it go. Release it and let it go. It's going to probably happen in the arena of communication for you, or short distance travel. Maybe you're feeling like really trapped at home, and maybe this is, messing up some kind of something that you're feeling, bringing something to the surface. And then on Tuesday, that moon is going to square off with, which sounds just like that, it's this kind of tough energy with Pluto and then Jupiter. They're both up in Capricorn. So that's happening in your 12th house. So it's kind of like your dreams are getting pushed at, and what do you want to do about it? And then it squares off with Saturn that's in your house right now, the first house of you. So there's going to be this energy of like, oh my gosh, I'm feeling really tense. I want to take some kind of action, and I don't know what to do. You have the Destroyer. Yeah, okay, so you had that. I need to push through. I need to break the boundary. I need to destroy something, surrender my control, turn it over to Spirit, be willing to let something go to truly release it. Is it a thought process? Is it, I need to forgive somebody? Is it a long-held belief? It's, when I see the Destroyer, that's karmic. That's Shiva. She's karmic. Is it your relationship with money, since that showed up? There is something that you feel very emotional about, and it needs to be pushed through, shoved out of the way, broken, released, let it go, so that you can allow space for new to come in. It is the pottery that got all, you thought you were creating something, and then it got wobbly and it got nasty and it fell down. It's destroyed, right? So then you gather it back up and you start again and you create something new from the wreckage, right? It's still the same stuff. You have that stuff around you. Remember, stop and take a look at what you already have and be grateful for it. And then how can you create something new out of it? And so you're kind of being encouraged, pushed along to let something go in your life that does not work for you at all. And it could be a feeling. It could be a thought process. It could be a relationship. It could be a lot of things. It really depends on where Taurus is in your chart. Oh, I'm sorry, where Aries is in your chart. So, you know, All right. So on Tuesday night at 10 o'clock, 10:10, the moon is going to move into Taurus. And then first thing in the morning, the sun moves into Gemini. This is at 9:49 in the morning on Wednesday, and this really shifts the dynamics for you. That's moving out of that earthy energy into that lighter, brighter energy. So try not to forget the lessons of being in the earth and the ground and creating something using your hands. But there's this awareness to live in the moment, be conscious of your thoughts, and look for signs and guidance. So what you think about, you're going to create, and you're being asked to figure out what you can do to bring the peace into your life so you can rest. So you can literally rest. And it feels like there's some kind of like a negotiation that you have to have with yourself about, if I give up this idea, if I give up this thought, if I give up this belief, if I give up this relationship with money, if I give this up, if I stop worrying about this, or if I stop, being concerned, if I give away these thoughts that are like chasing themselves, like chasing their tails in their head, that brings me peace. So I'm going to let it go. And it really not that easy, right? So something that you could try doing is writing down what you're worried about and burning it, turning it over to spirit. I've done this before. It was years ago, and it worked. I had never heard of it, and this was long before I really started on my real path. Well, yeah. Anyway, I was like, well, okay. I was skeptical. Let's just a serious dose of skepticism. And totally within like 24 hours, I couldn't remember what I was upset about. So it totally can work for you if you will give it a chance. This energy here is an opportunity to think about a practical way that you can bring your dream into reality. There is an awareness that you know what the next steps are. I totally believe that you know what it is. And so I could sit here and throw ideas at the wall like a bunch of spaghetti, but it doesn't matter because I know you already know. You know what I'm talking about. So the thing is now, do you release and let it go? I think that's the first practical step. And the next one is then the creation process, right? Let the clay fall down on the wheel and then create something new. So really cool things happening over the weekend. On Friday, we've got the moon moving into Gemini, which you're going to find very nice. We've already got the North Node that's moved into Gemini, and we have a new moon that's happening at 1:39 p.m. So the new moon happens pretty early in the day, and this is about catching the wave of the next phase. The North Node will be in Gemini for the next 18 months, and a new moon takes about 18 months to bring stuff to resolution. And so it is truly a beautiful opportunity for a new beginning. It is truly about taking a look through the peephole, the keyhole, whatever you want, and seeing what's on the other side and what can I do to revise my life? What am I going to shift, to change, to bring this in? Because the North Node and in Gemini with the South Node in Sagittarius is going to be triggering whatever it is that you're trying to create here. And it's going to ask you to give stuff up, and it's going to do it pretty quickly because we have a eclipse coming on June 5th in Sagittarius, and it's going to be like, let the stuff go so you can have this new opportunity. Let the stuff go. And so what can you destroy on purpose? Let it go. Surrender it. Turn it over. It's not working. It's not working. What did that say? If you don't like what you have been working on, rework it. So it could be a business plan. It could be a lot of things. Whatever it is now is the time to say, okay, that didn't work. Need to revise it. Need to start over. Be willing to do that because this new moon has some serious legs. It's got some serious energy, and it can get you where you want to go. You also have Mercury in conjunction with Venus on that day. So there's an opportunity to really communicate how you feel to somebody. I'm talking to Aquarius. Choose words that are as gentle and kind as you possibly can, no matter what you're trying to say. There's also a need to be accepting of the situation that's going on. And so the reason I say be careful of the words, it has, Sunday in particular has this kind of Knight of Swords energy. The Knight of Swords will come in and just say what they want and slash and right on through. So if you don't mind, then that's fine. Just be aware, there's consequences to doing that. And if you don't care, then you don't care. All right, so we have longevity. This energy of the new moon comes with longevity. No kidding. What you're planning is really going to make a difference. So we have healing and revival. The worst is over now, and the immediate future is promising. Pursue a healthy lifestyle to change the way you view yourself and the world. Be happy with the outcome. If something is not working, let it go. And hold your vision for what brings you happiness. Hold your vision. Remember, we have the joy. We have the optimism, right? Hold your vision for what is going to bring you joy. Release the stuff that does not. And allow yourself to co-create with spirit, which, by the way, is pretty much you, your higher self, to co-create what it is that you want, that brings you the joy, that brings you the happiness. Be optimistic about the future. Be aware that, what you're letting go, it needed to go. It was time. It was time. All right. So you have read. Free yourself from pain. What is not working? Shiva comes in to destroy in our lives the things that really aren't working, that bring in the pain. Be willing to let it go. Whatever it is, you know what it is. Because they're telling you to have joy and be optimistic. So you know. Okay? All right. I will see you back here on Monday. We are going to cover the 28 days of Gemini. That'll include that eclipse. We'll see how that energy is going to affect you. I look forward to seeing you then. Be sure to hit that thumbs up and leave me a comment. I'd love to hear from you. And until then, you take care.